We told you about this story back in April. I believe we were the first national show to break this story about a 16-year-old by the name of Christian McGee, a student in at a high school in North Carolina, and he was suspended. Now, we understand that a legal firm is now involved, the Liberty Justice Center, and they are now representing Christian, this brave 16-year-old kid who got in trouble for one of the weirdest things. I want to bring into the conversation Dean McGee from the Liberty Justice Center, an educational freedom attorney. Dean, good to have you with us today.
Todd, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, I want you to tell us, what did your client do that got him in trouble with the school?
My client's a 16-year-old boy. He was in class in Davidson County, North Carolina. He went to the bathroom, came back to class in the middle of an English vocabulary lesson, and he heard the word aliens used, and he raised his hand, and he asked the teacher whether she was referring to space aliens or illegal aliens who need green cards. Now, at this point, a boy in his class who he is friendly with, and that is critical, who is of Latino descent, turned around and jokingly said, "Hey, I'm going to kick your," forgive the language of a 16-year-old boy, "I'm going to kick your ass." Now, the administration was brought in, as best we can understand during our investigation, because the teacher didn't know that that kid was joking, thought there might be a fight in her class. They're pulled outside, and both of the boys say, "We were joking, this isn't a big deal." The young man who said, of Latino descent said, "Not a big deal, I was joking around." And the administrator had the audacity to tell him, "No, this is a big deal." In other words, telling this boy that he should have been offended by what Christian said. And from there, our client was suspended for 3 days out of school. I can go into the detail. I'll tell you, though, the school did everything wrong, both from a legal perspective and just from the perspective of having empathy for a child's completely innocuous, racially neutral question during his English class.
And the broader problem here is this poor kid was basically, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it sounds like they were branding him as a racist.
That's exactly right. That is on his record right now. He is suspended. In his record right now, it says he is suspended for 3 days for making a racist comment in class. Now, I've met with this boy. I've met with his family. I've gotten to know them as well as you can get to know people, over video calls over the last week. There was no racial animus in this family from this boy. The phrase illegal aliens is obviously, first of all, it's a legal phrase. Second, it is completely neutral as to race. And yet the school insisted that it was a racist comment, not anyone in class. And they've punished him, according to the administrator, the same way they would as if he had said the N-word in class. And that is a quote from the administrator.
So in spite of all of the overwhelming evidence that this was, nothing was meant by this, nobody got offended, and you point all of this out, what has the district done here? Are they backing away at all from this?
We filed our lawsuit this morning, so we'll see if they back down now, and if not, we're prepared to take this case to trial. But the problem is they haven't backed down, and from the very start, again, a total lack of empathy. When the mother came in, Christian's mother, Leah, came in to meet with the administrator on the day this happened, and to discuss this, she said, "It's my understanding no one was actually offended by this, that my boy is friendly with this other young man in class, but why don't we all, if someone was offended, why don't we all meet? Bring me in, my son, the teacher, this boy, his family, and we'll all meet and just make sure there were no misunderstandings about anyone's feelings." Now, that is, by the way, the sort of modern progressive trend towards discipline in schools. It's called restorative justice. And this administrator said no, that Christian needed to be punished harshly. 3 days out of school suspension, missed the big track meet of the year, and there would be no opportunity to even talk to the supposed victim of the comment.
All right. So you guys have filed the lawsuit today. and we'll be waiting to hear from the school to see what they have to say. Now, how is Christian doing in all of this? It has to be, I mean, for a grown-up, it has to be aggravating and infuriating, but I'm wondering, how's your client doing?
This has been devastating for him. So he's been branded by his own school as a racist. This has gotten around, students who weren't in class, assuming the school wouldn't have suspended someone for racism if there wasn't racism involved, have targeted him, harassed him, bullied him, to the point where his parents didn't even feel comfortable sending him to school anymore. And he's dealing with this every day, and it's one of the reasons why, among the many things we're asking for from the school, is just an acknowledgement that they got this wrong and an apology.
Well, at the very least, that needs to happen. Again, folks, this is a crazy story out of North Carolina. On the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line today, we have Dean McGee from the Liberty Justice Center. What is this overarching? I think there's a much broader issue here when you're dealing with these kinds of situations in the classroom. And it just seems to me like they're trying to find something to punish children with.
Well, that's right. I mean, there's really no other explanation for this. And they said as much. They said, in their view, this needs to be punished harshly. No opportunity for appeal, even, which is one of our claims under the Due Process Clause. So there does seem to be something odd here. The administration is so focused on punishing this boy. I think they're going to destroy their own reputation of their own school just by refusing to admit they made a mistake and doubling down on this punishment. Well,
to borrow their phrase, their behavior needs to be punished harshly as well, Dean, and I hope that you guys are able to accomplish that in the courtroom.
That's the goal, and I'm confident we'll be able to hold people accountable. That's what we do at Liberty Justice Center.
All right, Dean, we're going to leave it there. Good luck to you. Keep us updated on how the lawsuit goes.
Will do. Happy to be back anytime.
All right, libertyjusticecenter.org if you want more information on this particular case. That's libertyjusticecenter.org.